everyone, we're here at SHOT Show 2024, and I am at the Independence Fund booth, and I am with one of their sister organizations with F.R.A.G, First Responders Action Group. I've got Cherokee here with me to talk a little bit about what they do. Before we get into that, I want to say one of the things that I like about coming to SHOT Show, instead of just watching the coverage, is you either by word of mouth or just organically find really neat organizations or products that are doing things that maybe aren't getting the attention they deserve when they're really doing some good work. So what is it that F.R.A.G does?
So with First Responders Action Group, or F.R.A.G, we have innovative programs to support our first responders and our veterans. Our hallmark program is going to be the Veterans Justice Initiative. And with the Veterans Justice Initiative, we're seeking to avoid the unnecessary criminalization of those veterans with mental health and substance abuse issues by coming in contact with those eligible veterans early on in the criminal justice process. We do this through really a three-pillar approach. The first one being providing training to law enforcement and first responders. It's a 3.5-hour block of instruction. We're covering, signs and symptoms of various mental health issues, veteran culture, how to build rapport with the veterans and how to de-escalate them. Our second pillar is going to be casework. We're providing these caseworkers that will go out, work hand in hand. So if officers are getting repeat calls for service to veterans, they have really three options right now. It's make the arrest, take them to the hospital, or some cases it's like, what do I do here? Leave them? Yeah. And we're the fourth option. They'll call us and be like, hey, there's a guy here, he's really having trouble, he's in a bad way, it sounds like he's having trouble paying his bills, can you connect with some resources? And we'll work to try to connect him with resources and things like that. And our last one is we assist counties in setting up veterans treatment courts. At the beginning of last year, North Carolina only had 5 veterans treatment courts. We're up to about 8 or 9 now, with a lot more on the way come July.
So that is awesome. And again, this is something that is extremely valuable. Whether or not we like it, law enforcement doesn't always have the funding to do good training, and the police officers out there are the ones on the front lines, or sheriff's deputies, state troopers, etc. They're the ones on the front lines having to deal with things, and they're doing the best with the training that they've got. And especially, guys with post-traumatic stress or TBI might be exhibiting symptoms of that can be interpreted in a very different way to law enforcement who have been trained to look for certain things in, like, people who are about to flee the scene, or et cetera, et cetera. This is allowing them to be educated on how to identify those symptoms more easily coming from a veteran, and hopefully prevent an escalated situation that just results in a really negative outcome for everyone involved. Now, you guys are located in North Carolina, but you can kind of train all over the place. How many first responders have you trained so far?
Yeah, we trained over 3,000 first responders. We've worked over 250 cases, and we've helped set up 3 more veterans treatment courts with some more on the way.
So that is huge. And again, you guys are funded by supported by the state of North Carolina.
But we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so right. If you want to go to our website, fragheroes.org, or email us at info@fragheroes. Visit our Instagram, Facebook. Any donation helps. So. Yeah,
and again, they can go outside of North Carolina as well to do training. So if people wanted to get a hold of you, whether they're on a department or an agency, or they have family or friends or whoever they want to recommend, how can people get a hold of you guys to do training?
So if you go to our website, there's information at the bottom to contact us, and then we can set something up and talk about it. So
awesome. And again, with being a 501c3, tax-deductible donations, so you don't have to worry about that. And then obviously, based on the numbers that they've got, again, with over 3,000 people trained, setting up these other support systems for veterans, that money is actually going to go to where it's being used and can actually benefit veterans in need. Again, I think stuff like this is extraordinarily important, and giving people more tools to know how to deal with, veterans dealing with mental issues, or even just issues in general, is an extremely valuable thing. We all know the statistics about veteran suicide, especially, and it's not always the fun thing to talk about, but it is the reality of where we are. And if I can get on my soapbox here briefly, if we're going to be sending men and women out there to fight our battles and serve our country in the way that we are, we got to make sure that we're supporting them when they come back, and this is an excellent way to do that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but this is a really good way to do that. Anything else that you want to mention about F.R.A.G?
No, thank you.
Okay, so Now we're going to go over and talk about the Independence Fund, their sister organization as a whole, and talk a little bit more about what they can also do for first responders. All right, so now we've transitioned over a little bit in the booth to now focusing on the Independence Fund, which is the sister company to what we were just talking about with F.R.A.G. So what is it that the Independence Fund does?
So the Independence Fund, it does a handful of things. Firstly, we're a nonprofit. We cater mainly to catastrophically wounded veterans. We have a myriad of different programs that we have, everything from family programs to caregivers. We have our Operation Resiliency program that brings units back together to help. They bring them back together, and they get to bond over some training and exercises that help with, like mental.
Just kind of mental recovery.
Yeah, mental recovery, and yeah, exactly. It's mainly geared towards suicide prevention, because we know how unfortunately how predominant that is within the veteran community. And then on top of that, we have the mobility program, which I'm the mobility program manager, and we donate these track chairs to catastrophically wounded veterans. So since 2007-ish, when we were founded, we've been able to donate over 2,600 of these track chairs through either private or corporate donations to our organization.
That's fantastic. And like we were talking about with Cherokee over there, just that little bit of added quality of life just from being able to access the places that people typically access, especially where you guys are at in North Carolina, beautiful beaches. Even if you've got family or whatnot, and they want to go to the beach, now you have to separate yourself from that. You don't get to spend the quality time with your family. And then again, just general quality of life stuff, not having access to those places after being, again, that type A personality, physically fit and all that, losing access to these areas that we just take for granted. Again, that can mean the world to somebody.
Oh, absolutely. And not only just for the veteran themselves, but for the family members too, because a lot of the time it's extremely taxing on the family members who are essentially the caregivers for these veterans who once were fully functioning and capable of taking care of themselves. Now they rely on whether it be a spouse, a brother, a father, mother, whoever, to take care of them as well too. So like I mentioned, we have the caregiver program where we do retreats for these caregivers to get them the break and mental relaxation that they need from the everyday, stressors. They love their family members and they love to take care of them, but it is a big burden, big responsibility on them as well. So they definitely, it's taxing on them as well too. So actually, about 2 months ago, we did first ever all male caregiver retreat, which a lot of people don't think about because typically you think, military veteran, you think males predominantly, but there's plenty of female service members as well too. And you have these husbands, these brothers, these fathers who are taking care of their spouses or sister or daughters. And we were able to get them out to Arkansas and got them out for 3-4 days for some shooting, hunting, hiking, canyoneering activities, and a lot of them had excellent things to say about it, and it was amazing to see. So
that's awesome. Now, if someone is a caregiver or a veteran that wants to get in touch with your organization, what's a good way for them to do that?
So you can find us online at theindependencefund.org. We have a list of all of our programs on the website itself. We have location on there where you can also donate to the organization as well, because us being a 501c3, we receive all of our funding through donations and all the donations from, like I said, private and corporate sponsors and things like that. And every little bit helps out, and all of it goes to an amazing cause. So.
I think that's super awesome what these guys are doing. That's why after I literally just heard word of mouth upstairs, someone I know told me about these guys. I thought it was important enough to come down, and I'm really glad that I did. And again, stuff like this can get missed in all the excitement going on of SHOT Show, but this is something vitally important and can literally change lives and save lives. Definitely worth it. And like you said, you guys are a 501c.
Yep.
I always mess up the IRS. I mean, I got a taxation and theft shirt on. My IRS terminology is not the greatest, but the tax deductible donations, so you're not really losing out with these donations. And again, it's going to people that actively need it, and that money, like he said, they've done over 2,600 chairs.
2,600 chairs. Yep. And I will touch on what you said about changing lives. With one of our most recent Operation Resiliency programs that we just did this last year, we had a quote from one of the veterans that, I mean, it hit me as how impactful it was, is that he said that 4 days with the Independence Fund at OreGear had a bigger impact on his mental health than 10 years working with the VA. So it's huge. It really is.
Yeah, and again, the results kind of speak for themselves. I would highly, highly encourage you guys to check out this website, whether you just want to donate or whether you want to get involved and participate in any of these events. Or again, if you're first responders looking at the F.R.A.G stuff that we were talking before, again, really, really great work that these guys are doing. Please, please check out their website, because again, I can actually link this website on YouTube. Anything else that you guys want to mention about Independence Fund?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Cool. Well, Garrett, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Ryan.
Again, please follow the links. Really important work. Again, they're actively out there saving lives and improving quality of life for veterans. And it's one of those topics that's not fun to talk about. No one likes talking about veteran suicide and mental health. These guys are out there on the front lines helping to make it better for those people. So again, at least thank them for what they do, if not donate. But anyway, with all that being said, we're going to be covering a lot more here at SHOT Show 2024, so definitely stay tuned for that. But as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.